Morning traders, and this is your Aussie day trade setup for today. So yesterday we didn't really trade, as you can see. Our small account still sitting at 9264, pretty much just interest we made last night. No reason for it, just got busy and didn't really get a chance to get in. And when I did look, everything was going in the opposite direction to what I was expecting. So probably a positive thing at the end of the day. Okay, so there's a couple of things that I just want to highlight here on the Aussie. And the first one is this level that we're at right now. You can see all these fractals here. There's 1, 2, 3. Let's see, 4. You can count that as 5. And we've now closed pretty much on that level. And that level is 48,734. Okay, so last night, let's just get investing.com up so we can get some key indicators for us. So last night the US markets pretty much, I won't say they got hammered, but it was fairly negative. The Dow was down 0.9%, S&P was down 0.8%, and the Nasdaq was down, where are we, Nasdaq? Nasdaq was down 1.1%. As a result, Tencent is down at the moment 1% as well. China's fairly flat at the moment, and the futures market is ever slightly up. Rand dollar is 14.54, so that strengthened quite a bit yesterday. So, and I don't think it's a case of the rand strengthening. I just think the dollar got hammered yesterday. More tariffs that were announced for Brazil. So basically, what's happening at the moment is we think the Chinese trade war is sorting itself out, but Trump's picking on other people at the moment. Okay, so volatility will still continue. Now, what I want to point out here is we are at intersecting trend lines. So we've got a downward trend line or the bottom of a channel, and we've got a sort of horizontal level at 48,734. So you would kind of expect some kind of support here. However, we have a couple of gaps. There's a gap there, and there's a gap there. Okay, so it would not surprise me to see those gaps close. Okay, oscillators are indicating that we are overbought at the moment. Oversold, not overbought. And we are quite far from the alligator as well. So there's a bit of deviation on the daily, but on the 3 hour, you can see we're tracking with the alligator quite nicely at the moment. No diversions brewing at this stage, so trend is still down. We should still be looking for longs. So yesterday I pretty much was looking for a little bit of a rally and then the fall, but we didn't get much of a rally. We just pretty much came and tested the previous high and then fell off. So let's just get to the hour. I think you'll see that a bit clearer here. You can see we gapped up, tested the previous high. Trend was down. So typically what you would have been looking for is, depending what time frame you're trading, but the break below the bar. It tested the trend, and that's the opening half-hour bar, which was this one here. Okay, you can see it was a pin bar as well, so a break below it, stop above it, and that was your trigger. And that was quite a significant trade. And here you can see it a little bit better. Trend is down. We are below the alligator. You get a pin bar off the alligator. Entry is below the break here. Down. This here would have worried me anyway. I would have probably got out of it and changed direction. I need to see that it's retesting the break, and this is because this is pre-market. This is the first sort of hour of trading. Would it be half hours? This one. First two and a half hours here from 9. 2.5 hours, and then all the nonsense happened in Europe, and then we just bailed off it. Okay, you can see how we tried to come off the bottom of the channel with these two bars, but then we broke through. Okay, and pretty much hit a level. So you can see there are quite a wise man number one, because we have broken below it. So there are buyers here, and that was just not. But this was profit taking, and then you had people just stepping in again, expecting it to fall again. probably based on what's happening in the US markets. Okay, so I suspect we're going to continue to the downside. And just quickly on the, yesterday we had, let's get rid of the noise. Now, yesterday I was looking at that fractal and that fractal there. So a break of this fractal to the upside was going to trigger along, which it would have in my case, but then immediately came back and triggered the downside. So that would have stopped me out. Okay, so pretty much a tough call, especially when you look at the half hour. That was the open range trading. But I suppose just using some logic and always just step up when you're on the lower time frame, just step up one time frame. So if you're on the 15 or 12, go to the half hour or hour and have a look at what's going on. You can see the trend is down. So you really needed on the half hour, we needed that fractal break there to trigger along, and we didn't get it. Okay, so yeah. Anyway, let's just switch across to, I'm not entirely sure what we're going to do today either, because we've had quite a bit of backwards and forth. As you can see here, we broke above the cloud, Kijun Tekinson in a bearish mode, Chikuspan in bearish mode. We would have had a bullish cloud here, so lots of indecision. Below the cloud, back up, test the cloud, and then there's your sure trade there. I suppose this opening trade was not really the sure trade. Here it was here. And you can see how we trended down. So at the moment the trend is still down, no reason to get out of it, but I'm a bit hesitant, and I'm going to show you now on the higher time frames now why I'm hesitant. Trend is still down, Kijun Tekinson moving apart at the moment, so that's the only warning bell this year. Trend is still very strong with the downside on the hour as well, nothing to look at there. Trend on the 4 hour is down, however, flat Tekinson moving away, so that is a bit of a warning that we could be hitting a level. And if you look at the daily, we have broken through the cloud, second day that we've broken through a cloud. This could be seen as an exhaustion bar into a level. Okay, now if we start coming to the higher time frame, so look at the weekly. So the weekly was bearish all along with Kijun and Tekinson, you can see there, but now we're heading to a crossover. Okay, so that is telling me I need to be looking for a level. So we've broken through the cloud, we're back below the cloud at the moment. So what could happen here is we could reject this and close up in the cloud, and that would be a retest of the cloud. It would be 1, 2, third retest of the cloud. Okay, however, there are a few things here. So first one is this level here of 48,300. And if I look to the left, you can see quite a bit of interaction here. And then I'm going to take this level here, which you can see is just as much interaction with, which is 48,500. Okay, and if I keep going to the left, you can see how important this level was in the past. Okay, if I just step up to the monthly now, we've had a bullish crossover. And remember what I say, when you have a bullish crossover above the cloud, it is extremely bullish. So it's bullish, cloud is bullish, Chikuspan is not bullish, it's below price. So I'd like to see Chikuspan come up. Okay, so just looking at the bigger picture here, you can see we are back at this level, and this is this 48,300 area. You can actually say anything from 4,800 to 4,900. You can see for how many years now? It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years that we've been flirting with this this level that has played some significance in the Aussie. So I do suspect that something's gonna happen. If we do break through this level, then you can expect visiting some of these lows from the last couple of years. But I'm a little bit cautious to say that at the moment, because we do have a bullish picture at the moment. Okay, so yeah, so I think for me at the moment, the trend is still down. We should be looking for to trade with the trend. But again, yeah, I'd rather prefer a bit of a rally to get into this. Okay, I'm not really interested in picking a bottom here and saying we need to be long off here. So I'd rather wait for a pullback, get in short, and just keep trading short with the trend until such time that we get a confirmation of a trend change. Now I just want to check which one. I think that's nonsense. And that's not nonsense. Okay. So that there is not a fractal, so we cannot use it. And we don't have a fractal to the downside. Okay. So even if I look at it at the 12 minutes, okay, 12 minutes I've got a fractal there, but we've got this fractal to the downside that's broken. So that there is a short trigger with a stop above the fractal. Okay. Because we're in this area of all these levels, these monthly and weekly levels here, I'm a little bit cautious. Okay. So what I'd like to see is some kind of a rally, then look for my short and then back in. And ideally, I would want to see something. I was going to use a half hour here. I'd want to see this breakout retest here, 48,950 for another short. Only problem I've got with this entry is my stop level is 400 points. So you've got to ask yourself whether that risk is worth it. So if you're not in a short at the moment and being able to move your stop down, what you're looking for is a much a deeper pullback. So for me, that would probably be around this area here of 49,100, because that would give me a 300 point stop loss. Not much better, but better than a 440 point stop loss. Okay, so that's kind of my view at the moment. There's no other structure that's forming, and this trend is very much to the downside. I check the 6 hour here as well. Everything is pointing down. The only concern we've got is that we're coming up to a couple of levels here which we need to pay attention to. It doesn't matter. I just want to use this here. You can see there is a bit of a gap here. There's a lot of tails off there, so there may be sort of a 5-minute close of that gap, but there's not an hour close at the moment. And I just want to check the other gap before we sign off. Don't see anything else. So the gaps that we see are pretty much daily gaps, and they're visible on the 4 hour as well, but they're not really visible any other way. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I think trend is down, looking for shorts, just not looking to short off the bottom here. Want to see a bit of a pullback and then back in for the short. Okay. Now, whether we get that today is another story. I think we're going to get another gap down and probably a rally to the downside. Let's not say a rally, but a sort of another move to the downside. And the trouble is, I can't really pick a level on the lower time frame that we need to be worried about. So this is the one that I think is most important. It's 48,356. If I look at the weekly, that is a level that we need to pay attention to. And then what I would do is just look for some smaller areas just below that. So what I'm looking for is 48,350 or 47,750. Let's just say 4,800, I think would be a better bet. But that's kind of the level that I'm looking at the moment. So we still have another 375 points to the downside potential before I would be looking to try and pick a bottom if I was that way inclined, but I don't think I'm going to at the moment. So keep trading down until something happens. But I do believe we're going to have something happen here. 48,350. I think something will happen here, at which point we will see whether it is just a short bounce for us to get short again, or whether it is an actual turning point. Okay. Yep. So anyway, Guys, trade with the trend at the moment. Don't be hesitant to taking any longs, and just stick with the trend until we get sort of a move above, pretty much on the hour. So until we get above the cloud on the hour, then that's when you start looking for your longs again. But for now, short it is, and you want to short any rally. So just buy the rallies, but buy them off levels. Don't just buy willy-willy. Look for levels. Make sure that it hits a level and it rejects that level with at least a 12 minute or a 15-minute candle. With a confirmation bar, then get into it. Okay. Anyway, guys, that's my view for today. I hope it helps, and I'll catch you later. Cheers for now.